The following program is rated S for satire. We are not professionals, nor are we clinically depressed. We do, however, suffer from long bouts of indecision and stagnation. Viewer discretion is advised.
Welcome to the 30th episode of the Take That Depression, the Project CC arc. I'm Kyler. That's Spencer.
Hello.
How are you doing this week, Spencer?
I'm doing pretty good.
Good.
Well rested and relaxed and ready to do some recording.
Yeah, back-to-back one tonight. We got, again, our work schedule's kind of funky. 4 on, 4 off, so we're going to be doing a double recording tonight. My week was good. I only had 2 days of work.
Must be nice.
Yeah, it was very nice. The wife was sick, so I got to stay home and take care of the kids, which is fine. It is what it is. 2 days of work is definitely a dream, though.
Leading into 4 days off.
Yeah. So 2 days on, 6 days off for me. Feels pretty good.
Would you take that deal? I'd take that deal.
That's a great deal. But I think that this one, 30th episode, again, it being a double recording tonight, we're going to take tonight and kind of do a retrospective on TTD as a whole and what it has meant to us and the things that we were hoping to gain from each kind of arc that we've been through and things we're hopeful for the future, especially of the Project CC arc. I think something that we're both pretty passionate about. Now, I'll start off. I think when we started TTD, both like in what we were doing and then making the podcast, the main thing for me that I took away from it then was learning. Again, that first little bit when we were researching a topic every week and then presenting it and then doing the kind of skill checks and things like that. There was a whole bunch of learning happening. That was very, very fun, free time. It wasn't really all that free because, again, we're kind of... but it was... thinking about it now, it was a fun... I got to look up whatever I wanted to, kind of free thing and present that. I really had a lot of fun doing that. I do not think that is sustainable. Mm-hmm. I don't know that I have 26 topics if we were doing one-on, one-off of topics like we were doing. I don't know that I have 26 things that kind of pertained to mental health in the way that we were striving
originally
for.
Looking into.
I don't know that I would have 26 topics for that, and I think that maybe someday that would be a fun return, is just like an episode of like, here's these fun things that I've learned since then. I really appreciated that time. I took away a lot of learning from that, and that was the baseline for knowledge of creating this podcast too. So it wasn't just learning on the podcast, it was learning how to create, how to distribute, how to edit, all those things, the podcast, and then it was like getting it up on YouTube, learning that. I kind of had already done some of that, but relearning the program. It was a new program that I hadn't used before to do quote-unquote video editing. It was the first arc for me was a whole bunch of learning really, really fast. And I think that's why I kind of remember it as fondly as I do. Because I'm really a lover of learning. I think I said that in one of the first episodes, and that is true. That never changed. I've learned so much from not making a podcast to now, and I'm still learning every day, every time I edit something, every time I whatever. It's a new fun experience, a new fun learning thing. And one of the things that I was hoping to gain, that I definitely did, from the first arc, was the knowledge how to create and distribute all those things, a podcast. I definitely figured that out. And I have, again, this podcast, a silly little idea that we came up with at work, to thank for that. And eternally grateful. Super. It's much easier than I thought it would be, and much more difficult than I thought it would be, all in one go. But it's been a fun ride. How about you, Spencer? Do you have any? What did you enjoy about the first arc of the podcast?
So for me, when I think back to reflecting on the first arc of the podcast, it was kind of the wild west of like learning this thing, because as Kyler said, he had like a little bit of experience with like YouTube, but like content creating was a whole new world to me. Like, always wanted to do it, never pulled the trigger, didn't know how. So it's kind of funny that we like brainstormed on a little bit of what this looks like, but I feel like we dove in really fast. We're just like, here's the base idea, this is what we're gonna do, and we just wung it and just like dove right in. And it was a great experience for me. I think part of it for me was like public speaking. I think was a huge thing. Like, Kyler wanted to learn a whole bunch of stuff, and I'm not good at public speaking. I get nervous. If you look at this last episode compared to like the first two episodes, just like shaky voice or anything like that.
And remember the first episode, that was our third take of that episode.
Oh, so my God, I forgot about that.
So that was already like, some of the nerves were worked out. I think, I'm sure we still have it. I will have to search the file. I'm sure we still have it. But like, I think it'd be fun maybe at the end of this to release the first take of that first episode.
Oh my God, the bloopers.
It was
good. Rough.
Yeah. So it was definitely worth taking it. But again, if you go back and listen to that first episode, that is not first episode shakies. That is third take of the first episode shakies.
I forgot we record. I feel like there's a few episodes that we recorded a few times where it's like we'll talk and then it's just like shit, and then we'll like retake and then do it. So that's very fun to think about. I forgot about all that.
Yeah.
And it's crazy now as we record. Like, it's look at each other ready to do the dang thing and hit record, and then we just dive right into it. So it's And if I do mess up or say something I shouldn't, Kyle's right there with the edit button and ready.
Yep. Time stamping it, and then I can come back really easy. That's made my job a lot easier, because when we first started that, especially that arc, with the Drawful arc and Project CC arc, it got significantly easier for me. But that, when it was kind of scripted, not like heavily scripted, but at least for me, I had like talking points. Things like that. I think you were a little bit more scripted than I was, maybe. Whatever, it doesn't matter. But there was like minutes. I remember there was one episode that we were trying to do like a 30-minute episode or whatever, and it was over an hour of like complete recording of just like outtakes and things that were said wrong, and let me retake that, and like. And it was
like 15 minutes of usable recording.
And that, like, I didn't have the timestamp button. I didn't know how to do this timestamp button for those, so I couldn't be like cut from here to here. I had to listen to all hour and 15 minutes of that footage, sound footage, whatever. All hour and 15 minutes of that footage, and then cut out the stuff that was missaid and whatever. And like, I still wonder now, like, how I did it, because that's like, they generally say, and this might be a peek behind the curtain too much. Don't burn me at the cross or at the stake or whatever. They generally say whatever you're shooting for, allow triple that for editing. So if you're shooting for a 30-minute episode, allow for 90 minutes to edit and listen to and whatever. I have it down way under that now. The finding the things, the limiter setup that I like, the truncate silences setup that I like, where it cuts all the silences, where I'm just pausing and thinking for too long. being able to timestamp things so I can just scrub through the video or the audio and be like, oh, I need to cut something here, and I listen to that like 30-second section and I cut what I need to and then make sure that it all sounds good and flows well, and then I go on. So it's down from like 90 minutes to probably like all told probably 20 or 30 minutes.
It's definitely impressive to like hear like raw footage or like know what we record, know what we said, and then the following week see the full released video, and it's like, that's really good.
It's and again, it's doing the thing has made that possible. I would not know so much of the stuff, how to do like shrinking that time down, if I wasn't out here making a podcast every week and wondering how I can do this better, more efficient, make it sound better, whatever. That all came from doing it. So there is something to be said, again, kind of coming out here with a really, really rough idea and making a podcast with a really, really good friend, of make the thing exist and make it good later. Make it more efficient.
You were the first person to tell me that, and I've never heard that before until you told it to me, and since that day it has stuck with me. Like anything I do, any kind of like TikTok I make, any kind of little story, any kind of anything I'm working on, I like just get it onto the paper and I'm like, we can fine tune later.
Yep. And that, like, we had been talking about the podcast for months at that point, and that was just a thing that popped up on my Facebook. I can't remember if it was like a video or just like one of those text posts where it's like a picture and then it's like on the rainbow background, it's just text, or whatever it was. But we'd been talking about the podcast for so long, that came up across my feed, make it exist, make it good later. And I'm like, all right, universe, let's do the thing. Yeah. My wife and I have it's weird. Some people are into like astrology or whatever. My wife and I are really into taking whatever our version of listening to the universe is, because that, like, there's so many times when like something's not really quite going our way. We've been like dragging our feet on something, and then something will happen, and it's like an eye opener. For this podcast, it was seeing that post of the universe being like, hey buddy, it literally in front of your face,
or never.
Make it exist, make it good later. Our like housing journey right now, there was a house that showed up near our house for sale that my wife absolutely loved. And it was like kind of within the price range that we wanted to, the higher end of the price range that we wanted to be in. So then we were like talking, and we're like, by the end of the year we want to move anyways, so let's just like start the paperwork, see where we're at, pre-approval wise. And then we did that, got pre-approved for an amount, but that house that she really wanted got sold the day of getting our pre-approval, or went under contract. Then, a couple days after our pre-approval, a similar house in the same neighborhood, kitty corner across the street from that house, went up for sale. So it's just the little things that my wife and I really look out for, and that was one of those, the make it good, make it exist, make it good later. I was like, all right, universe, we're here to play the game. I think we just do the dang thing, and we did do the dang thing, and here we are 30 episodes later, just doing the dang thing.
It's been a ride. It's been a real fun ride, though.
Yeah, and you've said it multiple times, but just like 30 minutes to hang out and chill with the boy every week is what a win that is, regardless. Even if nobody listens to this at all ever, we will have it forever. My kids will have it forever to listen to me being silly. So,
and my cats will play it for them before bed, so...
They deserve it. Put little cat headphones on them. You can't escape it now. You have to listen to it. But then I think, do you have anything else to add on to the Origins arc?
Just a real quick, like, dive into it. The learning aspect too. It kept me accountable.
Yeah.
Like where I would have to like go learn something. I do like learning. However, I like learning at my own pace. I'm not as knowledge hungry as Kyler. So when it like having to do something, learn a topic every week and everything like that, sometimes it kind of feels like a chore.
Yeah.
But that's one thing I've took from that is like I still like dive in. I still try to make it like once a week, once every couple weeks. If I don't know something, if I say why is blank blank, look it up.
Yeah.
So then that's something I've taken away from that is like making sure if I don't know something and want to know the answer, I look it up.
Yeah. Yeah. So with the amount of information that many of us have in our pockets, literally, it's so easy to just find out the answer to questions. And that's like when I ask somebody around me a question they also don't know, it's like we have the power to pull out a cell
Let's
phone.
find out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the accountability was huge. Even to this day, I don't know the only other time that, other than like work when it's getting money to do, I don't know a time that I've done anything for 30 weeks in a row other than I was in like a 2.5 year long D&D campaign that, I mean, we missed our fair share of weeks, but 2.5 years is 2.5 years, and that was way more than 30 weeks of doing something. But yeah, this I don't know.
This is the most consistent thing I've ever done in my life as far as like projects and stuff go like that.
Yeah, there is times when I wanted to just be like, I know we said 52, but like we can whatever, right? And it's just not. That thought has never exited my brain. It has been there, but it's like, nope, 52 episodes at least. And we're going to check you back in at episode 52 and see how we want to carry this thing forward exactly. But yeah, that like the thought has come into my brain, but it's never left my brain in any meaningful way. So yeah, definitely the consistency that this provides. It's one episode a week, 30 minutes of your time. How could you pass that up, you know?
Yeah, big facts.
But it's definitely been a lot of fun. Anything else on the Origins arc then?
I think that pretty much covers it.
Okay. Then on to the Drawful arc. This one, for me, I think was kind of a means to an end. I was kind of running out of ideas to talk about for the Origins arc content. We were in the talks of all the things Project CC we had been for probably well over a year before the podcast even started. And we weren't ready to talk about Project CC yet. And drawing was a thing that we felt we could easily take and morph into a podcast. And I think in doing that, we realized how wrong we were.
Yeah. I misunderstood the assignment and how much it was going to take.
Yeah, sadly, and that's kind of the, like, make it exist, make it good later. Making it exist made me realize that it was not something that I could make good later. And it's disappointing to start a thing and then realize that that's probably not the right thing. And it sucks to kind of admit that defeat. And we tried a thing. You can't blame us for trying. It's very much been a kind of a roller coaster to keep on creating in that way, when it was like, oh, this probably, after like third or fourth week, it was probably like, this ain't, or it was like, this probably isn't where I want to be. So then to carry that through to the next quarterly business meeting and kind of do the dang thing, it led to a lot of funny, I remember the TikTok of Super Long Legs Gengar. That was so funny. I was really hoping that kind of meme would continue, that somebody would somebody would keep commenting on it. And
10
like,
alterations to this.
yeah, just like even to this day, like every day somebody comments something on it, I add whatever it is to the Super Long Legs Gengar, and then that's what it is for like a year or more. Like super funny, and yeah, that kind of fizzled out, and that again just showed me how much I was not prepared for exactly what that entailed. Which again is a disappointment, but that's what it is, and that's why we do these things. If we never tried, then we wouldn't learn. And yeah, so that one, what I wanted to take from that one, and I think you and I both, like, I wanted it to be a fun, engaging way to create art, to then drive me to create art, to then get better at creating art. And sadly that didn't happen, and again, that's part of learning. I don't think that, I mean, we don't have the fan base that would just like us for our shitty art.
It's stranger on the internet says, this is not art.
Fair enough, dude, it's not. That's what I wanted to take out of it, and again, that just wasn't the case. And that's very fair, and I think that shows that A, we're willing to try something. B, we're willing to admit defeat. And C, we're willing to be mutable and change when something definitely isn't working for us.
I liked the Drawful arc. Kind of going back a little bit to what I said with Origins, like anything that feels like a chore after a while, I just won't do it.
Yeah.
Like not that I won't do it, I just don't have the drive to do it. And it's not that it was a chore to learn anything, because again, it was super stoked to learn some new stuff. And again, anytime I get to just hang out and record with my boy is a good time. The chore was having to present information I learned as someone who is not a strong, I'll just come out and say it, not a strong reader, definitely not a strong presenter, talker, anything like that. That became the chore, having to like stress this like presentation. And he mentioned about me having more like scripted, and that's because I couldn't just spitball it off my head. I had to have like all these notes prepared, and it became kind of a mess. If you've gotten this far, so going into the Drawful arc was really cool because a couple reasons. One, it shifted into drawing, which is something me and Kyler both really like. I think even after the drawing arc, I'm confident we both still like drawing. The problem was it was a little bit defeating knowing that we can't really draw. Like it was, and I think if we were really good at it and we were getting better, and it's like, look at this little thing and turn into something big, I think it's something we both would have, kept going with and could have. But at least for me, it's a little defeating, like sitting down with these like little things and then like having to draw this prompt and it's like just not working out. Whereas if it was just like you're sitting down on your day off and you're like, I'm just going to do a little sketch or a little painting for funsies. There's no job to be done here. Yeah.
I think that also it was our expectation of progress. One drawing every week, I don't think, like, maybe that is you do that for 52 weeks, you do that for 52 episodes.
The same drawing.
Yeah, exactly. And then you come back and you compare your long-legged Gengar from week 1 to your long-legged Gengar from week 52. And that was just a miss on our part, a miss of expectations and a miss of goal setting there. That, say what you want about it, it will forever be enshrined in TTD history. I'm happy it was there, and I'm happy we also decided to move on.
I think too, part of it with like going into that is obviously being on the Project CC right now. That was the ultimate goal. Origins, learn how to do a thing, learn whatever, learn the skills we need to do and proceed with Project CC. Drawful arc, we're making a story, we're going to need artists. Why don't we start arting and then start learning how to draw and do all that? Again, stretched our maybe a little bit more ambitious than we originally thought, but it still opened the door for that, to learn what we need to do, what we can do, what we're capable of, that kind of thing. And now, after we decided maybe that wasn't quite it, it rolled the ball into, which for me was ultimate goal down the road, is Project CC. That's been, even before the podcast, I think that was, we've been talking about that and content creating, and then it all kind of just spiraled into one thing. So I'm excited to, moving on from the Drawful arc into Project CC.
Speaking of which, I definitely need to change our name on all the things. I've not done that yet. We're still in the Drawful arc 6 episodes later. I 100% agree. The goal, I think, was always Project CC. And with that being said, do you have anything else left for the Drawful arc?
I think that pretty much covers it for me.
Then on to Project CC. I think the things that I've learned from Project CC is I've done some world building, some story creation. I've done a fair amount of DMing throughout my years. Enough homebrew stuff to fill a small notebook, I'm sure. But this is to co-create a world is something that is uniquely fun. I've done this a lot with my brother. We were both running kind of a same time, same world D&D campaign there for a short while. Co-creating a world, to have somebody spitball ideas off of, to riff with, to go back and forth, is for me the preferred way of world building. I think I could have these really, really cool ideas in my own head. I get them into paper and I share them with any other human being, and they're like, dumb, that's dumb, you're dumb, I don't like it. And to have the second person where it, you say that idea and then they're like, okay.
That's been huge.
That saves it, and then it doesn't leave that conversation. So no one knows how dumb my ideas are except you.
I've been telling everybody I have a whole side account that I just post.
Just TikToks. Kyler's dumb ideas.
K54.
So that's freeing, because I can just say words. And I really enjoy that kind of environment. I think one of my dream jobs, and I know that it quote unquote does exist but doesn't exist for a person like me, is video game ideas guy. I just want to be in a boardroom with 8-9 other dudes where we're just saying words at each other, and then someone's up on a whiteboard and they're writing down all the things that all the people are like, nah! That's the job. I want to be paid $30 an hour to do that. I'd never leave my job. What a dream that would be. But to do that as a hobby project is very, very fun.
I've been enjoying this a lot, and actually getting to put everything down and actually start working on it has made me I'm just thinking of so much stuff, brainstorming worlds. I even get sidetracked to where I'm what about a story for this whole new project over here? And I'm no, bring it back. We'll write that down, but it'll we'll have to wait. And it's like you said, it's been super cool. It's been super cool to have this idea and then have you here too, to be hey, what about this? And then you're yes, but that's not really what we're doing. And you're you're right, because I'll just add things for free just to stack, and then finally people be what is this? So it's nice to have you reel me back. But also when I throw out something and you get this little side turn, and you're yes, and I'm yeah. So then we start brainstorming and spitballing off that.
Yeah, it's definitely, again, been a very, very fun process, and I really like the Set in Sand episodes moving forward, because that's us kind of bringing you guys along for that brainstorm session of the, well, I don't know, or the yes, it's, and that's fun to, again, kind of freeing to put that out into the world too. It's nervous to, let your kind of stream of consciousness go out into the ether and have strangers perceive it, but it's definitely fun.
And you'll always get the people too, even if you know it's
Yeah.
a good idea and you're happy with it, someone's gonna be like, I don't like it, and it's like, that's fair.
Yeah. Awesome.
We're still gonna do it. But
I'm super happy for you. You don't have to consume the product, the media that we're making, so whatever. I think one of the things that I'm hoping to get out of this, again, speaking future tense here, that's the ability to kind of speak freely about the world. And one of the things that in a pipe dream that I'd be wanting to get out of this is viewer input, to have the audience, to have the people that are listening say that's a good idea or that's a dumb idea. That's something that again, pipe dream down the road, whatever, I really hope to get out of this.
we always love interaction, but
Yeah.
I think for this would be huge because, again, it's one thing for us to come up with this story together, but have other people like, John Smith commented, what if they did this? And
Yeah.
we're like, that's a really good idea. Boom.
Yeah.
And now John Smith,
Yeah.
5 years later, can read this, like, whatever it ends up being and being like, that was me.
Yeah. A little fun help credit at the end
Yeah.
of book, anime, whatever. Any person that helped. But yeah, it's the community interaction, I think, is what I'm hoping to get out of this. Anything else?
I don't know what I'm hoping to get out of this. Like, there's so much. It's just been overwhelming. Like, it opened the door to more creativity, which I think is something I've wanted to do. I've always had, like, all these ideas, nothing to really, like, what about this thing? Yeah, what about it? Now it's kind of like, I feel like it's a refresh of creativity coming through the door.
Yeah.
And now I have some, like, outlet to channel it.
Yeah.
So I definitely it's helped me start looking at things in new perspectives and new ways. And I'm just excited to see where that goes in general.
Giving us the time. Like, this is 30 minutes, roughly, that's set aside for this.
Yeah.
To just have the conversation. So it's not we're at work and we're like, you're in between jobs, I'm in between jobs at work, so we have 3 minutes before one of us gets called away to do something. We have 30 minutes right now to sit down and talk about this thing. It's very cool also to have it.
It's been a blessing.
Yeah, very much has.
Because even, like, when we were talking about it too, it's like we would never really, like, write things down or anything like that. It's just, what was that idea? But now it's, one, we can go back and listen to the episodes that we do, and be like, what was that thing? And then go back to, like, wherever and be like, that.
Yeah.
And two, it forces us to kind of, like, again, concrete those ideas and be like, well, we talked about it, let's get that in the book so we can, like, eventually open this world Bible.
Yeah.
And then just be like, all right, let's get to work.
Yeah, the Set in Sand, Set in Stone episode, the back and forth that we have set up, I think is going to be a really, really fun thing to go back for us and listen to all the crazy ideas that we were thinking about, into all the things that are set in stone that we are for sure doing. I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and to, like, transcribe those into a master document whenever we're kind of done and ready to move on to the actual building and not just, like, the core rules of the world.
Yeah.
I'm really stoked for that.
I'm very excited as well.
Yeah. Anything else before we close out this episode, though?
I think that covers it on my end.
Awesome. Thank you again for listening this far. Interact with us anywhere you can, in any way that you can. We'd love to hear from you guys. But as we always love to say, stay safe out there.
And don't get mugged.
If you are struggling, please, please, please reach out to someone or dial 988 to get connected with someone at the National Suicide Hotline. You do not have to go it alone.